With the seemingly endless amount of content that gets posted on the internet every single day, it's no surprise that a lot of the stuff found online can be pretty bizarre. That's why in this video, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the internet's darkest mysteries. Before we get started though, I'd just like to say that only 5% of you guys who watched the last video were subscribed, so if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of my content, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyways, let's get into the video. Kenny Veach. In September of 2014, a 47-year-old man named Kenny Veach drew attention to himself by commenting on a YouTube video about a mysterious cave he stumbled across when hiking through the Mojave Desert. The video was called Area 51 Technician's Son Discloses Secret Alternative Energy, and was an interview with a guy called Paul Ute talking about how when working in Area 51, his dad and other technicians created a new source of energy. The video itself is nothing special, but the comment section's where it gets interesting. This ain't nothing. I'm a long distance hiker. One time during one of my hikes out by Nellis Air Force Base, I found a hidden cave. The entrance to the cave was shaped like a perfect capital M. I always enter every cave I find, but as I began to enter this particular one, my body began to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I got really scared and hightailed it out of there. That was one of the strangest things that ever happened to me. Now obviously with the internet being the internet, a lot of people were skeptical of Kenny, so he replied by saying that he'd go back and record it. Kenny stuck to his word, and on the 18th of October he uploaded a 20-minute video titled M Cave Hike, where he tries unsuccessfully to relocate the cave.
Well, I did not find the cave. That is so weird. I mean, I thought for sure I was just gonna be able to find it. I remember it being fairly easy.
After posting the video, people were still skeptical since he couldn't find it, so he left another comment saying that he'd go back a second time to give it another shot. Well, on November the 10th, 2014, Kenny left on an overnight hike to find the cave, but was never seen or heard from again. Now at first glance, it seemed like there are two explanations for his disappearance. The first being that Kenny died from natural causes, like getting lost in a cave or falling from a cliff. Or the second being that he was killed by the US government after going inside of the M cave. While sounding pretty stupid at first, there is actually evidence that would back this theory up. In both the initial comment and the video, Kenny mentioned that he felt his entire body vibrate the closer he got to the cave.
And something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt, and I was like, alright, I'm not gonna go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday.
Well, the US government has actually been known to use infrasound to deter people from areas they don't want them to access, like military bases. If you're like me and didn't know what infrasound was, it's basically just a sound that has a really low frequency, but it's played really loudly, so humans can't hear it but can feel it all throughout their bodies. It's extremely strong and can give side effects like headaches, anxiety, and vomiting. Just imagine the bass feeling that you get in your chest from a loudspeaker, like when being at a concert. It's pretty much like that, but just much more extreme. Now in the comment, Kenny did mention that he was near the Nellis Air Force Base, so it really wouldn't be too far-fetched to believe that the military could have been hiding something in the M cave. But that is just a conspiracy theory, and while it is pretty interesting to think about, his girlfriend thinks otherwise. Around a year after he disappeared, Kenny's girlfriend posted a comment on the M cave video, telling her side of the story and providing some more insight into his life. I'm the girlfriend that Kenny spoke of in the video. There are so many posts. I had no idea until a friend let me know. So many people are wondering what happened and guessing different things. You are heartfelt about the sadness around what has happened with Kenny. He has not been found, and I feel that he probably won't be found for many months, if ever. I want you to know that I do not think Kenny had an accident. I believe he committed suicide. He battled depression for many years and wouldn't take medication or see a doctor. She then goes on to explain that over the past year, Kenny's depression got worse and worse as he lost his job, and he'd hinted towards committing suicide. He asked me what I'd think of him if he did it. He also said that if he decided to do it, then, quote unquote, no one will ever find me. She explains that all the search team were able to find was his phone, which she thinks he threw away on purpose so he couldn't have been tracked. She also mentions that he left his camera at home, so he clearly didn't have any intention of filming the hike. In my opinion, this probably is the most likely explanation for Kenny's disappearance. At first it seems unlikely, but when you take into account the no one will ever find me, it really does make a lot of sense that he went on this hike to commit suicide. If he really was trying to find the M cave again, it doesn't make any sense as to why he didn't bring the camera, since obviously he'd want to make another video about it, especially if he found something interesting. But let me know what you guys think. Jeff the Killer origin. I think it's safe to say that if you've been on the internet throughout the past decade, then you've probably stumbled across this image before. We all know the story behind it, and if you were like me and grew up with unrestricted internet access, then Jeff the Killer probably attributed to a lot of your childhood trauma. Anyways, the point is I'm sure that all of you guys watching this know who Jeff the Killer is. But where did he actually come from? A common misconception about the photo's origin is that it's a photoshopped version of a girl called Katie Robinson. The story goes that she was feeling down, so looking for compliments, she posted a photo of herself to 4chan. Obviously, with 4chan being the cesspool that it is, Katie was bullied relentlessly and ended up committing suicide. Attention 4chan. Yesterday, I found my sister in her room, crying her eyes out. I asked her why she was feeling down, and she said it was because she's fat. I became furious, demanding she tell me who was making fun of her. She said that she posted her picture on a website called 4chan.org. She continued to say that this website made fun of her, and posted shots of her photo. I'm appalled. Take a good look at this picture, because this beautiful woman, my sister, committed suicide later last night. Hey, that must have been one hell of a strong rope. Okay, now before you think I'm a terrible person, this is 100% fake. After a quick reverse image search, you'll find that the picture of Katie Robinson is actually a photo of a girl called Heather White, and was posted all the way back in 2004, while the Katie Robinson stuff happened in 2008. Now, if that story's fake, then what's the real origin? Well, that's the reason it's on this list. There are pretty much no leads towards where the photo came from. The first time the photo appeared online was on a Japanese image board back in July of 2005, but there have been multiple earlier edits of it, like this one, which honestly is even more creepy to me, and this one, which is believed to be the least edited version that can be found online. So far, these are the only big advancements that have been made on the search, and it's unclear whether or not the original will ever even be found, or if it even existed online in the first place. Personally, I feel like Jeff the Killer was probably just made by some Japanese guy who photoshopped himself or one of his friends, then posted the image online and forgot about it. Chances are that the original photo has been lost to time, since it's literally 2 decades old at this point. Anyways, I hope I'm wrong, but whether or not the original gets found, it's still a really intriguing topic, and it does a great job at breathing new life into an oversaturated internet legend. DJ Def Joey. In 2010, a YouTuber called DJ Def Joey uploaded a video which would leave over 4 million people shocked, and for good reason. The video is called My Dead Great Grandma's Coffin in My Own Backyard, and unfortunately it's not clickbait. Well, kind of. The video starts off with Joey explaining in sign language how for the past 20 years, he's been keeping a casket of his grandma in his backyard. He goes on to explain that he never got to meet her since she died in 1945, 8 years before he was born. He says the reason he has her coffin in the first place is because the cemetery she was in quote unquote closed and corrupted due to poor maintenance, so the only place that they could keep her was in his backyard. Now, you're probably thinking, blur, this is completely fake and there's obviously no one in that coffin. But the video isn't over yet. After Joey explains everything, it then cuts to him opening up her coffin, revealing his dead grandma's corpse. Now, if you thought that was bad, just look what this man does next. Yeah, if you couldn't already tell, this video is luckily fake, but to my surprise, pretty much everybody in the comment section seemed to actually believe it. I guess I could see why so many people fell for this though. To an untrained eye, her body does look pretty realistic, and if you don't give it much thought, then the story about the cemetery corrupting definitely could be believable. But there are definitely some really obvious flaws. The first one being his great-grandma's corpse. By simply googling corpse after 50 years, then you'll see that after being dead for that long, the human body decomposes so much to the point where it pretty much just turns into a skeleton, regardless of whether or not it's been embalmed. However, as you can clearly see in the video, this just isn't the case at all. Her body doesn't appear to show any signs of actual decomposure. All that's really happened is her skin's turned green and she pretty much just looks like a zombie. If what we're seeing in the video is actually a corpse, then A, it probably wouldn't be green, and B, it'd be severely decomposed to the point where she'd barely have any skin left. Not to mention the fact that this guy literally started smooching with a 65-year-old body. Now obviously, if this was real then she would smell absolutely abhorrent, and it really shouldn't take a genius to realize that Joey would have almost certainly ended up with all sorts of diseases. If that's still not enough proof for you, the story about the cemetery doesn't make any sense either. Judging by some of his old videos, as well as the Twitter account linked to his channel, Joey resides in California, where under state law, it's illegal to keep a dead body in any place other than a cemetery. If the cemetery she was being kept in shut down, then first of all, they wouldn't just go and dig up every grave, and second of all, they'd be breaking the law by leaving Joey to deal with her body. Finally, the last reason that I think this is fake is because of another video on Joey's channel, which is called My Great Grandfather's Skull at My Other House. In this video, he shows off a seemingly real human skull, which he claims to be his great-grandpa's. So this guy has his great-grandma's body in his backyard, and also just has her husband's skull casually lying around in his house. It doesn't take long to realize that virtually the only way Joey could have gotten a hold of his grandpa's body would have been through the cemetery also giving Joey his grandpa's coffin along with his grandma's, assuming that they were buried in the same place. After putting two and two together, that means that the only way Joey could have gotten his hands on the skull would have been by opening up his great-grandpa's coffin and literally ripping off his head, or at the very least taking it off of his body had it already been detached. That's not to say that the skull's fake though. Unlike his great-grandma's corpse, it actually does look real, and it probably is considering that they're legal to own in the US. But the chance of it actually belonging to his great-grandpa is pretty much zero, or at least I hope. So yeah, unless this guy's an absolute psychopath who treats his grandpa's corpse like a Lego set and makes out with dead bodies, this video is 100% just a publicity stunt. And clearly it worked. For some reason, pretty much everyone just seemed to believe this guy. So I mean, props to Joey. He got 4 million views off of what was most likely some medical prop. Anyways, let me know in the comments if any of you guys have seen this video before, because I've known about it for quite a while, but haven't seen any other YouTubers talking about it. Cursed Quran recitations. Quran recitations are a very common thing on YouTube, with many Muslims from around the world listening to them as they sleep or pray as a way to feel peaceful and connected with God. These recitations are considered to be very holy recordings, so altering them or mocking them in any way is obviously seen as very disrespectful and sinful to people who follow Islam. And unfortunately, what I'm going to be discussing is one of the worst examples of just that. In 2019, a YouTube channel called Sarah Ali uploaded 2 videos titled Quran and Quran for Sleep. After reading the title and looking at the lengths of these 2 videos, it's clear that this person wanted to make sure that the viewers were asleep while listening to them. And after hearing what I'm about to play for you guys, it's pretty clear why. At random timestamps hours into these 2 videos, a female text-to-speech voice is heard reciting what are believed to be black magic curses against a guy called Owen Brown. These are spoken in English and don't necessarily say anything hinting at them being satanic, but were definitely added in to at least generate some sort of spiritual energy in order to impact the life of this Owen Brown guy, who we can only assume used to be in a relationship with the creator. I'll play a few clips of these, but just a quick warning, if this stuff offends you or creeps you out, just skip around 20 seconds ahead. There's nothing directly disturbing about it, but it's still definitely super unnerving. Anyways, here it is.
Owen Brown gets dumped and ghosted by any woman he is talking to. Owen Brown gets dumped and ghosted by any woman he is dating. Owen Brown is spending the rest of his life with me. Owen Brown is coming back to Orc University for me. Owen Brown listened to every word I say to him. Owen Brown listened to every order I give him.
Now, what I just played was from the second video, but the first one with over 6 million views also has these supposed curses. They're just really subtle and play under the recitation instead of hiding deep into the video. I'm not Muslim at all, but listening to that was super unsettling to me. But let me know what you guys think. Personally, that freaking dude, that gave me the heebie-jeebies. That really just, yeah, I was disturbed by that. These curses somehow went pretty much unnoticed by the poor listeners of this video until around April 2022 when a Reddit user called Armdre posted on the r/internet mysteries subreddit talking about it. To which luckily, popular Muslim influencers as well as horror YouTubers like Gooseboost began to pick up on, quickly bringing enough attention to the matter to get both of the videos taken down. As I'm recording this video, Sarah Ali's channel still remains active with almost 40,000 subscribers and 0 videos. Anyways guys, that's gonna wrap up the video, but before we go I just want to say a big thank you to all of you guys for the overwhelming support on the last video and the channel in general. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely mind-blowing, so thank you all so much for that. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, then dropping a like and subscribing to the channel really motivates me to keep making content for you guys. Thank you all so much for watching.